mother show.
Let's get it going.
Listening to the Sportz Nutz.
Yes, you are in fact listening to the Sportz Nutz. We hope you guys had a fantastic day. Hey, if you guys missed a really cool interview, it's going to come up for you in just a few minutes. Myself and our guy Pensman got to interview the play-by-play announcer for the Pittsburgh Penguins. It's actually really cool experience, to say the least. Hey guys, tonight we have a very cool episode lined up. We are talking with a friend of ours. His name is Mark Livingston. He actually is a writer for Greenville Sports Media. He's is writing an article currently about the historic Black colleges and universities. And unbeknownst to everybody in the world, if you haven't known this by now, there is a massive point shaving scandal that has been rocking the world of college basketball, and more specifically, there are quite a few of the HBCUs that are mentioned in that. So we're definitely going to talk to him about that one. Like I said, you will see the interview with Joe Brand we had today. It was actually a lot of fun. Really pleased about that one. And then, guys, after he leaves, we have a couple of things we're going to talk about. And I'm actually really excited to mention this. Now, there are some moments in sports, and more specifically sports history, that one simply cannot forget. Why? Well, for a variety of reasons. Maybe it's something special has happened, a fight, game-winning shot, whatever the case may be. Well, a very special moment happened on this day 20 years ago. Just for bleeps and giggles, does anybody have an idea what happened 20 years ago? Don't Google it. Matt, what do you think, Matt?
20 years ago?
Mm-hmm.
That's a good question, man. 2006, January 2006. I don't know, man. I'm stumped.
Bryan, do you have an idea by chance?
A basketball player shot 32 points in the fourth quarter alone.
What? You're pretty close on that one. What do you think, Shane? Don't mind Shane. Shane has no voice, by the way. So, yeah. He sounds a little bit like Mickey Mouse. But, all right. So, what about you, Pensman? Do you have an idea?
Steelers finally winning the Super Bowl against the Seahawks.
Boy, do you ever wish. No. So, the one that was actually the closest was Bryan. You guys ready to hear this? 20 years ago, the Black Mamba, a.k.a. Kobe Bryant, scored 81 points against the Toronto Raptors in a 122-104 win. Now, since then, guys, there have been only a few who have gotten close to that point total. And I want you guys to think about it. We're going to come to you, but I want you guys to think about who the other players are that got close to getting that 81-point mark. And I also want you guys to think back when Kobe hit that hit the 81 points. If you can, what you remember most about it, we'll talk about that. Women's college basketball has seen some actually really good games this week. How about this, y'all? Oklahoma heads into a game against number 2 South Carolina, and they beat them in Norman, which, by the way, y'all, here's a crazy stat. It's only the 7th time ever that South Carolina has visited Norman, Oklahoma. That's crazy. We did see undefeated UConn win absolutely insanely big against Georgetown, a really good Georgetown team. And then number 5 undefeated Vanderbilt blew out Auburn 81-53. So we're going to talk a little bit more about that in just a few minutes with women's college basketball. Then we have our honorable mentions. But we have you guys to tune into. What's up?
Is that when Iverson was playing with Georgetown? Was that what you were talking about back in that day?
No, that was actually the other day.
Okay.
All right, guys. I also want to give a special shout out to everybody listening to 95.5 KFCE in Terrell, Texas, and everybody listening as well on TigerNation.live. All right, Matt, how was your day, man?
Man, everything was good, man. We're getting ready for this particular ice storm that's about to come up. So tonight I will be, going back up there. Hopefully I should be able to stay on to the end of the show. I should be able to, but
you have to.
I gotta, right? I gotta get myself together, and I gotta get back up there, man. Back up to the spot, and get prepared for tomorrow, man. So it's supposed to hit tomorrow afternoon. How fickle this weather. I hope nothing happens at all, but with all the crazy amount of people out there getting all the gas and there's no more bread left in stores, no more water left in stores and things like that, I'm pretty sure something might happen. So we'll
Snowmageddon in full swing indeed.
It's ice, though. It's about the ice. It's about that ice, man.
So in case you guys also are living under a rock, next weekend you've got to keep your eye on the possibility of a pure snow event. And then Shane knows this very well. February the 7th, it looks like weather models said hold my beer because it could be snow totals of biblical proportions. So we'll just stay tuned on that one. Bryan, man, what's going on with you? Happy Friday, man. You made it.
Yeah, I did. And I'm probably going to have to work this Sunday. We don't know yet. But that all comes to conclusion tomorrow night. We'll find out about that one. That's going to be a treacherous getting to work if it does happen, on a Sunday morning. So we'll see what happens on that one. But no, it's actually a good day. So, yeah.
Nice. Shane, I know your voice is limited. Just tell everybody hello real quick, please, sir. Is he stoic?
Oh, yeah. Well, I'm going to say, hello. Appreciate all the thoughts, stuff like that. So it's going.
Yep. All right. And last but not least, I only saw you a few hours ago, but Mike, man, what's going on with you, brother?
I'm good. I went to work and rushed home and took care of the interview and ate, and here I am.
That's right. All right, guys. The time has come. We're really excited to get you in the mood for this. Here you go. This is the interview of interviews. Thanks to Joe Brand of the Pittsburgh Penguins, the play-by-play radio announcer for the Pittsburgh Penguins, for coming on and speaking to us about everything going on with Pittsburgh, and especially with them being in Vancouver right now. So shout out to Joe and everything. Without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, enjoy this interview.
Hey, everybody. Welcome, Joe, man. We really do appreciate this. And I want to say that, first off, to have this opportunity to talk to
All right, we're having a little bit of technical difficulties there. Matt, do we know what happened there, sir? You're muted. Uh-oh. All right, we'll get the interview in just a second. We'll get the interview in just a second, but it is the interview of all interviews. Really excited about that one. Matt is trying to get it going on. So Don't worry, it's coming, folks. And then, did you guys happen to real quick? I know Brian, you made mention of this one. Did you happen to see what Dabo was really going off about? You're muted, Brian.
Linebacker,
Brian,
and he. Oh,
there we go.
Okay. No, he went off on the Ole Miss and stuff, and
tampering.
About tampering. They got all the documents right, and then he talked a little bit about what they should actually do about the portal when they should open it. And I actually kind of agree with them on that one about, doing it in March into April and letting them, on that one, on the portal, where they can actually finish a whole year of semesters and then they can actually do the portal that way. I thought that was kind of interesting what he brought up on that one. I agree with him on that. So, yeah. I just want to know what y'all thoughts are on that one.
Hey,
well, tampering in general is stupid. All right,
really
here we go.
This.
All right, guys, pay attention. I hope you enjoy this interview, and we will talk to you all soon. Enjoy this interview, and thanks again to Joe Brand for being there.
I want to say that, first off, to have this opportunity to talk to you, man, someone who has been around the game of hockey for a very long time, it really is special, not only for me, but also for my entire team at the Sportz Nutz. And I absolutely cannot tell you thank you enough. And I mean, like, this literally is just a monumental moment for us. Real quick, how are you doing, man?
Well, I'm doing great after that introduction. I mean, how could I be doing any differently? I'm doing great, guys. It's been a fun road trip. We're in Vancouver right now, and hopefully wrapping up a perfect road trip by the end of Sunday. We'll see when we get there, but having a good time right now.
Man, I hope.
Absolutely, Yeah, so I gotta say thanks to my guy. So my guy's his name is Mike, but he goes by Pinsman. But we gotta really say thank you for this opportunity. And so I'm gonna go right into it. Now, my first question that I have for you is, can you share with us some of your absolute favorite moments or calls for all that you had all time as covering the Pittsburgh Penguins?
Well, I've only been here a year and a half, and I feel like I've already been very lucky with a lot of history already. I mean, my first year heading into it, Evgeny Malkin was 2 goals away from reaching 500, and that was, I said, kind of my baptism by fire into the Pittsburgh Penguins organization. It could have happened in the first period of the first game of the year. It took a little bit, but that was a wild moment when I was kind of stressing out about. And once it happened, after it happened, I felt good about it, and kind of helped me settle in a little bit more. I mean, I've definitely had some bumps along the way, maybe some things I would have liked to call differently, but in this business, you just kind of got to let it rip, and however it pans out is what it is, and you just got to be okay with it and just try to prepare yourself as best you can for the next call. I'm just really lucky, guys. I mean, Sidney Crosby, a generational player, Evgeny Malkin, a generational player, Chris Letang, the same, and all 3 of those guys are on the same team. So it's been a blast. I've always said I would have taken any one of these gigs, and for it to be here with this organization, this stoic franchise, I'm really lucky. But yeah, to answer your question, I think I would say the Evgeny Malkin 500th goal is one of my favorites. It was really cool to witness Sid pass Mario for all-time points. That was kind of another one that was a little bit drawn out, and once it hit, definitely matched its expectations. The Alex Nedeljkovic goalie goal last year was a lot of fun because that was something you couldn't prepare for, and you just had to ride the emotions of it. So yeah, a lot of fun stuff for sure. Hoping for a playoff call this upcoming year, though.
Absolutely. All right, Mike, go ahead, man.
When you were younger, did you always know you were going to be in the media? More specifically, did you the sports industry?
I didn't know that I was going to be there, but it's definitely what I wanted to do. Yeah, I'm one of the lucky ones where I was 10 years old and I knew I wanted to call games. I loved sports, especially baseball, but I wasn't very good at them. And I quickly realized that this was a way to kind of be on a team and follow a team along, and but more importantly, be the bridge from the game to the fans, and that's the role I think I cherish most. If you can't be at the game, I'd like to make you feel like you're at the game. So it's definitely been a dream come true for me. It's been a lot of fun. But yeah, I mean, I've been working towards this. It's hard to say since I was 10 years old, because it's not like I'm 11 and I'm like hammering away at game notes or anything like that. But jumping into college right away, studying broadcast journalism, getting involved in the TV and radio stations, just doing everything I could along the way to try to get to this point. So it's definitely been very fulfilling.
You know, I will say this too, Joe. It's funny you say that you've had this envision basically your whole life. When I was in 6th grade, I had to do this mock newscast for my classroom, and I went home that night and I said, "Mom, I'm going to be on the radio." And she said, "Okay, you tell yourself that." Well, here I am, all these years later, and I've gotten to do it. Now that you did make this mention, now that Sidney Crosby has passed the great Mario Lemieux for all-time points with the Pittsburgh Penguins, does this basically solidify him as a first ballot Hall of Famer? We know he's going into the Hall of Fame, but does this solidify it as a first ballot?
I don't think he needed this to confirm that. I think he's been a first ballot Hall of Famer for quite some time now, really. Just the things he's able to do, the leadership that he brings. I mean, he's constantly in conversations of being one of the best ever. And it's just, it's hard to quantify what he's able to do and what he's able to bring to a team and organization. And he's just been the leader of it the entire way. Kids are still growing up wanting to be Sid, and that was the case 10, 15 years ago. So he's just a unicorn. He really is. And I knew how great he was, before getting this job. I knew how great of a player he was, how great of a person he was. But once I got here and got to see how he operated on a daily basis, that's when you start to realize how special he is, just how much he prepares, how much he cares about winning, how much he cares about the game and respecting it, but also doing whatever is best for the team and whatever is best to win the game. I mean, even just last night in Edmonton, we were talking about it on the bus ride back to the hotel, the goal he scored that helped the Penguins to a 3-0 lead and scored 3 goals in a matter of 37 seconds. I mean, he just takes this snap pass from atop the circles and it's just able to angle his stick so perfectly that it finds an area towards the net, let alone gets it past Tristan Jarry. So it's little things like that he does on a daily basis. I mean, now he'll take the puck down into the corner. He's below the goal line. It seems insurmountable that he could have an opportunity to score, and yet he's able to just chop the puck and do it in a certain way to where it's actually a high danger chance. So it's been really cool to see him, on the back end of his career. I'm not ready to say he's ready to hang it up or anything like that, but clearly he's, this is year number 21 in the NHL. So he's had all these other fantastic years already in his rearview mirror, and he's able to do all this stuff now at age 38. It's truly remarkable.
Yeah, they don't last forever, unfortunately. And, we do see some of the absolute amazing athletes, I mean, heck, you just mentioned it. Sidney Crosby, 21 years. I mean, you got Alex Ovechkin has been in this game for a long time. I mean, we're coming to the end of seeing these legendary athletes across every realm of all sports. It's sad to say that, we grew up watching them and now they're coming to the back end of their time. And you're like, this is a hard thing to accept, but it's a great thing to get to watch some of the absolute legends of every gameplay. All right, Mike, go ahead, man.
By the way, I just want to let you know before I ask this, the second question is you're doing a phenomenal job. I watch every Penguins game. I'm a huge fan since 1989. So just want to let you know you're doing a fantastic job. But did you ever envision yourself working for the Penguins, or did you have somewhere else that you had an eye on?
No, I mean, this was a pretty big surprise for me. I mean, I had not even been in Pittsburgh until the job interview. And actually, back when I was 10 years old, realizing I wanted to do this, I was envisioning baseball. Baseball was my first love. It was the first sport I really would obsess over. I was a big Cubs fan growing up in the south side of Chicago, ironically, but watching every game and listening to every game and trying to understand how these broadcasters were able to describe the action, call the game so well in real time. And I almost became more infatuated with that, more so than the game. So then, as I got older, I knew that I continued to know that this is what I wanted to do. Obviously, it sounded like a long shot dream. But then, you go to college, you study it, you call the game. I called my first game my second semester, my freshman year. It was a women's basketball game. And you're like, wow, this is a lot tougher than it seems. But you just work at it. You keep trying to do it more and more. And I never tried to slow down in my play-by-play reps. I called as many games as I could in college. Right out of college, I got an internship with the minor league baseball team. And then I was in minor league baseball for about 12 years. And hockey was actually the last sport I had called. I was doing football, basketball. Yeah, go ahead.
That's what I do. That's what I do on my channel. I cover the Penguins and I cover the Yankees. So I do the Steelers too. I do a lot of play-by-play. So I see what you're getting at with that.
Yeah. And I tell everyone,
ahead,
like,
Brandon.
you just got to do it. You got to do it. You got to practice it. You got to try it out, because that's the only way you're going to get good at it, and the only way you're going to get better.
And people don't realize that in this industry, it's not, gumdrops and candy for everybody. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of prep that is involved. And my show, we air it 3 times a day. 3 times a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and it's for 90 minutes each time. That's a lot of prepping that I still have to do, and just to get prepared for it, and people often think, oh, you just show up, call it a day, and leave. No, there's a lot more to it than just showing up and calling it a day. It's a lot of work. Now, Joe, I do want to say this. Now, we have all noticed a lot of the inconsistencies. I'm sure you have too, with the Penguins this season. The inability to close out certain games late at times, the issues with power plays, the inability really to end games and shootouts as of late. Obviously this is a big issue, but we're coming to the second half of the season. Do you personally think that they have the right tools, the right direction to turn this around and head into the second half, as we're already starting to see a blazing trail, but make it into the Stanley Cup playoffs with a potential as a higher seed? I mean, obviously, you have to deal with the likes in the East of Carolina, of Tampa Bay. Now Detroit has made a name for themselves. And obviously you look over the West and you do see Big Brother in Colorado, who leads the entire league in points. But do you think that they could correct the ship and be able to go into the Stanley Cup playoffs on that high that they need to go on?
Well, I think the recent trend that they've been on right now is showing what this team is capable of when they're able to put it all together. They're 3-0 on this road trip right now. They've had some very impressive wins, and I think the most impressive one actually came last night in Edmonton against the Oilers, and Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl, who was a late addition, a surprise addition to the lineup before last night's game. The shootout situation, I don't know how to break it down. I just don't. It's kind of a quirky part of the NHL schedule. I truly am a fan of it. I know it's kind of a polarizing topic, but I do like the shootout. I think there is a world where it can still exist to determine a winner past overtime. But the power play is still top 4 in the NHL despite its recent struggles. They've only scored 3 goals in their last 6 games, I want to say, maybe 7 now, but they all came against the Philadelphia Flyers. But they still have a lot of star power on the power play, and it's also featuring guys like Sidney Crosby, Evgeny Malkin, Rickard Rakell. And then I'm trying to think one other point that you brought up, but I mean they're a very solid team right now. They are, and it's a matter of just making it to the playoffs, and once you get there, who knows what can happen. But sitting in second place in the Metropolitan Division right now is a good spot, and they're surprising a lot of people at this moment. and showing what they're capable of. So it's been fun and entertaining. And the Olympic break, I think, will help out a lot. But then also, it's going to be a very strong push to the end of the year. This is an older roster. It'll be interesting to see how they respond with playing pretty much a game every other day. But if they're able to continue what they're doing right now, I think they'd be in a good spot.
Before I let Mike ask the last question for you, I want to ask you. You did just mention that you're in second place in the Metropolitan. You're literally knocking on the door behind Carolina. Are you guys? I mean, how do you come about approaching having to play teams like Detroit, like Tampa Bay, like Carolina? I mean, even let's see, just another example, like Buffalo. Even Buffalo has surprised literally everybody this year. How do you guys get your minds mentally prepared to go into the second half of the season, having to know that you do have those teams? They're kind of starting to separate themselves from the rest of the pack.
Yeah, I think this is a team that gets really motivated for those types of matchups. Again, last night in Edmonton, I think, was an example of that. Back in December, the Penguins were on a roll, and they geared up for a game against Tampa, and they won that game. I mean, they got bailed out a little bit on a hand pass towards the end of regulation that waved off an equalizer goal, but they still got 2 points, and then they were able to sweep Detroit in back-to-back fashion too. So they've shown they can hang with some of these tough teams. It's a different animal with the 7-game series. Don't get me wrong. That's going to be a tough matchup,
Right.
but you got to get there first. And right now, I think they're taking advantage of what they've been doing well right now and using it to propel themselves to be in a very good spot like they're at right now.
All right, Mike, go ahead.
Yeah, I thought last night's game was good. We got revenge on Tristan Jarry last night, so that was really good to see on my end. But my question is, given the advancement of technology and the game of hockey itself, how has the game evolved since you've been a part of the play-by-play?
You mean like my job or just hockey in general, or
both?
Yes.
Okay.
Both.
Both. Yeah. I mean, because again, this is only my second year with the Pens, and I was working with the Hawks for 3 years doing pre and post. I was covering the team for about 10 years before that. But in terms of technology in the sport of hockey, I mean, I think like any other sport, it grows quickly, and every team is trying to figure out how to get an advantage over the rest of the league by the technology, the circumstances that they have, the accessibility to things. So, you're getting more analytics in the sport than you ever have before, and teams are trying to use that to their advantage. And I think they've done a good job, at least in the Penguins organization, with some of the acquisitions they made this past offseason. Guys like Parker Wotherspoon, Anthony Mantha, Justin Brazeau are just great additions to this lineup. And, they were kind of players that just didn't have a home. But Kyle Dubas and his staff found value in those guys and figured bringing them here will help them and help the team, and they've done just that. In terms of my job, I think it's easy for broadcasters to drown in stats and just kind of rely on stats so much, right? Because everything is so number heavy these days.
Mhm.
But at the end of the day, what we're trying to do is have whatever we say or whatever we report stick to our audience, whether they're listening, whether they're watching. You want to try to relay the information as effectively as possible. So just saying 14 sentences in a row that just have a million numbers, is the audience really going to absorb that? Are they really going to take that in? So I think context is huge for my gig because, okay, we are 3 for our last 21 on the power play. But all 3 of those goals came in one game against the Philadelphia Flyers. So this team is, maybe struggling, but they're also able to have a quick outburst. And they're still in the top 5 in the league. So it's, those are a bunch of numbers. You can say those in a couple of different ways, but you want to say it in a way that whoever is listening to the game I'm calling is able to understand that and able to take that in. So context is huge. And that's honestly why I like play-by-play the best, because you get the best of both worlds with that, and you get to figure out the best way to relay it in an effective manner, and also mixing it in with just what's going on in the game. This job is great because it's very similar every day, but every day is also very different. You can get into a routine to prepare yourself. Maybe you catch a curveball where you have to adjust on that, but you can get into the routine. You can prepare yourself as best as possible, and then you never know what's going to happen come game day. So that's what I like about the job the most, and that's why I try to use all the resources we have with technology, with analytics, in a effective way, in a very productive way, so that I'm not just taking in all the info and putting it out there so that no one can really understand it. It's so that a way that I can value it, and so can the audience.
Absolutely. Well, Joe, man, I want to say from the bottom of my heart, from my team, my team's members, Matt Thomas, Shane Owen, Brian Pettit, and Mike from Pinsman Sports here, and our good friend Ralph Williams of RW Media. I want to say thank you from the bottom of our heart for coming on our show. Can you quickly let everybody know? I know when the schedule is. Mike knows when you're next, but can you let everybody know where they can listen to the next game for Pittsburgh, and then when does this road trip end for you all?
Yeah, so it'll wrap up on Sunday. That's our last game of it. We're in Vancouver. Oh boy, I should know this, but I don't. I want to say it's 3:00 Vancouver time, so that would be 6 p.m. Pittsburgh time, I believe.
Okay. 6 o'clock.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
6 o'clock.
Yeah. So yeah, that'll be the next game. We come home after that. We play the Blackhawks on Thursday, but you can catch me on the Penguins app. If you download the Penguins app, there's just a little radio icon in the top right corner. We stream on 105.9 The X. That's an iHeart station. If you have the NHL app, you can just go to the little headphone icon. You can catch every game that way for free, every game in the entire league. Also, it's a great app. It's very accessible for everyone. And yeah, I'm on Twitter. I'm on Instagram. I'm on TikTok. So I'm out there as well. But hey, guys, pleasure's all mine. I appreciate you having me on, and appreciate the chat and the conversation. And yeah, just happy to talk Penguins hockey.
That's right. Go Pens. Hey, I will talk to you again soon.
Hey, Joe, I got one more question.
Looking forward to hearing talking about the playoffs.
Yeah, go ahead, Mike.
Yeah. Okay, how's it feel in the stadium and in between and get to interact with the players?
It's cool, man. I try not to take it for granted, but I also try not to get too over my head about it as well. You want to have a responsible, professional relationship with these guys, but you also want to seem and feel like a human being as well. And I think that's sometimes a tough line to walk, because listen, these guys don't need another friend. They don't need me palling up with them and trying to hang out with them during lunch and dinner or anything like that. But you want to make some sort of relationship to where you can get a good dialogue. And when I do have a question, whether it's for on the record or off, you can be approachable and get a true, genuine answer. But I will say, everyone has been great. I think that's just hockey in general. I think that's the culture. They're a bunch of good old boys, and they're very polite. They're very engaging. They're down to earth as well, and they're just respectful human beings. So it's been a lot of fun. And just to go back on Crosby's aura, I mean, he's top of the charts with that as well. Like just very down to earth. Always knows the right thing to say. Whether it's in a scrum or just walking by, just very charismatic, very genuine, nice guy. He almost always gives time for autograph seekers, with the kids waiting outside the bus or outside the arena. So it's pretty cool to see him almost always have a positive mindset no matter what the situation is, and it kind of puts everything into perspective. Like, all right, if Sidney Crosby can have a good day pretty much every day, I think I can too. So I think that that helps go a long way as well.
I love it. Joe, we'll talk to you soon. I definitely want to have you on.
Have a good trip to Vancouver, man.
Yeah,
Yep,
thanks,
I definitely
guys.
want to have you on again when we get closer to the playoffs. Does that sound good?
All right, sounds good, guys. Thanks for having me.
Yep, go
You
Pens.
bet, buddy.
Thanks.
How cool was that, y'all, to get the opportunity to speak to somebody who is in this industry and he covers, one of the greatest teams in all of sports. I mean, think about like who and you heard Pensman just asked there at the end, what is it like getting to be in this, walk the same hallway, the same corridor that the legends themselves get to be there? I mean, like, just think about this for a second. If you guys were to sit there next to Sidney Crosby, raise your hand if you'd say, "Pinch me, is this real?" I would.
I would.
I would absolutely. Is
I
this
definitely
real?
would.
And
I
then he
definitely
gets
would.
to see Mario Lemieux. I mean, it's just such a neat experience. Thank you so much to Joe for coming on. I know his schedule is challenging right now. Obviously, he's up in Vancouver, and just a genuine guy. Go give him a follow on Twitter. As you guys heard, his name is Joe Brand. He will interact with you. I promise you. Great guy. All right, guys, let's bring in our next guest. This gentleman is a writer for Greenville Sports Media. He is doing actually several articles about HBCUs, historically black colleges and universities. And, here as well as everybody should know this, when we cover sports at the Sportz Nutz, we love to cover every angle, whether it be small, medium, large, extra large, heck, even the 2XL, which is like the big boys. Okay. We like to cover it all. And it's always a real pleasure to have somebody come on and talk to us about programs like HBCUs. Without further ado, Mark, man, how are you doing, brother? Let's unmute your mic, but man, how are you doing, my friend?
What's going on, fellas? How y'all doing?
Good, man. Thank you so much for coming on. We really do appreciate you. Obviously, this is a fun topic to cover with HBCUs because, small schools are where it's at. Now, we'll start up with the way is we saw a really big celebration actually happen in Orangeburg this week with South Carolina State. Henry McMaster also put the South Carolina State flag up for display. What does this say? What does this personally mean for South Carolina State and the rest of the HBCUs?
Well, first of all, I'm probably not what everybody was expecting whenever you told them you have somebody coming for HBCU colleges. But I think that, with that type of celebration, getting that statewide recognition, especially in a state like South Carolina, who hasn't been too long removed the Confederate flag from the top of the State House. So to actually have a celebration like that for an HBCU like South Carolina State right here in South Carolina, celebrating their big victory in the Celebration Bowl, they have a lot of tradition that gets overlooked. And, to have that, over things like South Carolina and Clemson, which gets a lot of the media coverage, I think that really, really is going to say a lot. It's going to bring attention to not just, South Carolina State, but, it's going to wake up other governors to also celebrate these schools also, man.
I like it. I love that they cover, just think about this for a second, they're just as high quality entertainment as you see at the big boys. Hello, Jackson State is an example, Jackson State did the impossible. They did phenomenal on that one. Now, obviously, we've read about it. We've heard about it. And if you haven't, people are living under a rock. But we've heard about this issue going on with the point shaving scandal going on. We also saw that there are several HBCUs who are mentioned on this thing, and it's sad because some of these athletes, these gifted athletes, they're facing lifelong bans. They're facing felonies. I mean, the list goes on and on. Can you give us a little more insight from what you have heard about this point shaving scandal?
Well, I've tried to reach out to several SIDs. I've reached out to Florida A&Ms. Was one of the main ones. I've reached out to Delaware State. To try to get a little information. A lot of them are being, really, really hushed about it right now because it's an ongoing investigation. So, when it comes to that stuff like that, but I am on their email list for press releases. So, as soon as they get anything, they're going to be emailing press releases over to me, so I'll have a lot more information. But Brandon, I mean, me and you kind of discussed this a lot. Like I said, I'm not going to absorb, I'm not going to expunge any of the players from this, but I the NCAA has kind of opened up Pandora's box with this NIL deals. Being in bed with FanDuel, DraftKings, and all this other stuff, man. And what happens is you got guys at HBCUs who are not getting that NIL money. They're not getting all those endorsements at the big schools, which is a shame because there's some really, really good talent that are going through these HBCU schools. So, I mean, a lot of these people, they come from, lower income families, like a lot of these are urban communities. So, while I can't sit here and say that I agree with, being a part of point shaving, but, a lot of them are looking at like, what, I'm not throwing the game. The point shaving is for the bettors, we're still winning. We're just not covering for the bettors, and we're able to send money back to mom, who's still living in one of the more rougher communities. So I can't sit here and say that I agree with it, but I can't sit here and say that I don't understand where some of these are coming from, to try to do this.
Absolutely. I mean, I get it too, but it's still sad. Obviously, the big jocks, they're thinking about what can I get the most money for my bang for my buck, and who cares about the others? And it's sad, Now you have covered a lot of small schools. Your work, it really helps open eyes up for the smaller programs. You're a big component of Presbyterian, which we've had Presbyterian on our show. We're great school. You've also done a lot of stuff with Furman. We actually have a friend of ours who he goes by Deuce. His name is actually Bryan as well. Who actually attends Grambling State. Can you, from what you have learned and what you've written about with the HBCUs, can you let our audience know more about HBCU schools as well? Because I mean, the whole point of this is to get other people to also enjoy going to smaller schools like this. So can you kind of elaborate on what you have learned so far with the HBCU?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, first of all, one thing that I've learned since doing this, whenever I started down this venture, I didn't really know a lot about HBCUs, but I do know that they have a passionate fan base. And the thing about HBCUs is they all support each other. So, like around here, you have people like South Carolina, but they don't support Clemson or vice versa or whatever. Like me, I'm Penn State, I'm a Penn State student. We're not going to support Ohio State, Michigan, stuff like that. They support each other.
You should.
And that's really, really cool to me because, whenever I wrote about Florida A&M, for instance, that article has like over 2,000 views. That's not all Florida A&M. I posted that with South Carolina State. I posted that with Grambling. I posted on Jackson State's Twitter. A lot of different ones. But what people don't also understand is there's a lot of history in these. I mean, look at Eddie Robinson, for instance, man. One of the winningest coaches, was the winningest coach for a very, very long time. And he coached in HBCUs. Now you have also people like Deion Sanders who have shined a light. You got Michael Vick over there at Norfolk. Deshaun Jackson at Delaware State. Look what he did over there. I mean, that's going to be my next article. Actually, is on those. I'm trying to get an interview with Deshaun. Being an Eagles fan, got to go for that. But also, Marshall Faulk is now in the mix. So, these big name Eddie George also. These big name people who are coming from the NFL. These are Hall of Famers. They're coming in to shine a light on this. That a lot of people already knew. About the talent that goes into these schools. The problem is these schools should have been getting that coverage. Whenever they start covering because Deion Sanders is there or Michael Vick is there or whoever's there, that just shows that the media is just trying to get the sexy story and not worried about the quality of the play. But now you have a 5-star basketball player who committed to Florida A&M, who played at Florida A&M, who had big time offers. you had Travis Hunter, you had Shedeur Sanders, so you're getting a lot of talent who is going into these HBCU schools that a lot of the big schools, are not getting, and they think they could, and they're not taking the bag. They're trying to shed light on these things, and that's what my articles are to do as well. I'm trying to shed light on on not just the play of HBCU in sports, but the history of the institution itself. And man, the things that I've learned about how some of these schools started, like Bethune-Cookman, how they started, and Florida A&M and all this, man, I mean, it's really, really cool. And I definitely advise anybody to go check these articles out.
Absolutely, Mark, man. I appreciate you coming on and seriously telling me, like, you have no clue how many people tell us regularly we need to cover even more smaller schools. So we do. And the feedback we get is absolutely astonishing. Can you quickly let everybody know also where they can find your work, when your next article will be published, and what's next with on your docket?
Yeah, absolutely. Appreciate that. Basically, greenvillesportsmedia.com is where you'll find my articles. You can go on my Twitter, which is GSM_SoCon, SOCON, because I cover a lot of SoCon schools. I cover Wofford, and I cover Furman. Like I said, I cover Presbyterian. I mainly covered Presbyterian women's basketball when I was doing that. But I still do a lot with PC. I'm still very, very thankful for those guys. And so my like as far as my next articles, probably not much since there's not a lot of sports going on this weekend with the weather and stuff. So I'll probably work on like some of my HBCUs. I'll go probably with Delaware State, and I haven't decided on the other one because I like to keep my work going. But I will be at the Nashville on the weekend of March 7th. I'll be covering Furman and Wofford at that facility. So that's the next really big thing on my list. And then after that, I go on to baseball. I'll be covering Wake Forest's baseball team as well as the Greenville Drive.
Nice, man. Well, brother, I really appreciate you. By the way, you do have a comment here. This is from our good friend John. He loves your beard. And then he did say, "I am jealous." So we text message for them. That's an awesome beard. How long did it take you to grow that beard?
Bro, I don't even remember the last time I shaved this thing. I mean,
awesome, man.
To be honest, I don't even remember the last time I shaved. It's probably been several months, probably.
Oh wow. Well, Mark, man, I appreciate you as always. Please stay safe this weekend. As we all do, that it's coming. That weather is going to be nasty, so be safe. And please tell your family thank you for letting us borrow you for the time we did, man. And I will talk to you soon. Does it sound good, brother?
All right, brother. Y'all have a good one.
Y'all too, man. Take care.
Thanks for having me.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Yeah, appreciate it.
All right, guys. How cool is that? Like, for real. Like, I mean, think about that for a second. We had two amazing guests come on today, y'all. We had somebody talk about what is it like to be a play-by-play announcer for one of the most prestigious teams in NHL, in the Pittsburgh Penguins. And then we just learned more about the HBCUs. Like, how cool is that? Definitely give him a follow. All right, so like I said before, guys, there are some shining moments in sports. We have all seen them. 20 years ago, actually it was yesterday, 20 years ago, yesterday, Kobe Bryant, a.k.a. the Black Mamba, scored 81 points, and the win against Toronto, 122-104. Matt, can you enlighten us a little bit? How many players have come close to that 80-point mark since Kobe did it?
Well, nobody scored 80 points yet, man. But there have been a lot of 70 babies out there. Devin Booker dropped 70 something. I mean, you have some players out there that have hit that 70 mark, man. Especially the 60 mark. Did it. Yeah, just the 60 mark as well. I mean, these players are far too good right now. But as far as the Kobe Bryant 81 points, I would never forget that day. because first of all, he was on a tear that week. The game before, he had just played against the Dallas Mavericks, and he had dropped 62 in 3 quarters. Kobe had 62. The Dallas Mavericks had 61 at the end of the third quarter. So Kobe was on a tear that week, and he had a bunch of 50s and 40-point games, 60-point games. So you knew something was coming, man. But I was in the LA Fitness, just got done hooping. We'll go back there to go back to my locker, and everybody's just crowded around the TV. LA Fitness used to have a TV in front of the locker rooms back there, and I'm like, what's going on? What's going on? And Kobe got 70-something. Kobe got 78 points, 79 points. And I'm like, what? And he got 81. As far as I'm concerned, it's the highest, point total in NBA history because there's video of it. That other one,
It happened twice in the NBA, though. Wilt Chamberlain did both.
I think he only did it once.
So it's documented proof that he did score 100. I'm sorry, I misspoke on that. It's actually there was a high school that just did it in Arizona.
Oh no!
Matt,
Dewan Wagner did it in high school as well. Dewan Wagner was a basketball player from Jersey.
And Matt wants YouTube to come back out and see it to believe it.
No. Show me some box scores. Show me anything except for a piece of paper with a 100 written on it. I'm not buying it. That's AI before we knew what AI was.
Well, and it actually just came on the news 2 days ago that the high schooler in Arizona, he scored 100 points. You ready to hear what the final score was? This is going to be knock your socks off. It was 109-25.
Oh, geez.
So the rest of the team scored 9 points. The dude scored 100. That's absolutely insane. Pensman, do you remember when Kobe hit 81? I do. I remember it like it was just yesterday.
Absolutely. Kobe was awesome, and then rest in peace, bro. But yeah, I remember that game. It was a great game. He was hitting 3-pointers left and right.
Yeah, it was absolutely insane. Bryan, do you remember it when Kobe hit 81?
I don't remember, but I heard people talking about it. So
my God, it was and Matt, when I was watching it live, I had secretly inside of me had prayed that he would score 100 points. I don't know if you thought that too. I had prayed he was going to hit 100 points. I mean, at the point, obviously, when they took him out, the game was pretty much decided. There was no winging prayer, but it would have been cool to still see him score 19 more points.
Remember, they were down big too. They were down big early in that game against the Raptors. They were down big, and then Kobe just brought them back and won. So the game actually had some kind of significance to it because they actually came back.
I think they were down 20 or 30 at that time.
Yeah,
they were down 20 at the time. Yeah, it was insane, and they came close to getting down by 30. And then Kobe said, "Nope, I'm taking control of this," and he went off. I remember Stuart Scott explaining it like when it happened. He was like, "This is something you got to see to believe, because if I told you right now it was what happened, you would not believe it." And rest in peace, Stuart Scott, one of the greatest ones. But it was so cool to see Kobe Bryant do that, and it's true. Shout out definitely to the Black Mamba. He still is one of the greatest to have ever played the game of basketball. I will stay to that to the end of time. If I had to choose between Kobe and LeBron to be the second GOAT behind MJ, Kobe is all day. Yes,
Kobe is mine too. Kobe was the GOAT too.
I say that, Matt, because Kobe cared about rings before stats, whereas LeBron cares about stats and nothing else. And if he doesn't get his way, he throws temper tantrums. That's just that one. All right, guys. We saw.
Hold on. You can't end with that. Do we have proof that LeBron just cares about stats? Look. I agree with you.
Miami, Cleveland.
If it's about stats,
LA Lakers.
Wouldn't you say that more about Kobe though? Because Kobe was going to make sure he had to score.
Yeah, but
he
Kobe
didn't go anywhere.
Kobe cared about this all the time.
But LeBron has more.
And how many? What is LeBron's record in the finals?
The same record as Kobe in the finals.
And what is LeBron's record compared to Michael Jordan's in the finals?
Okay, that's in the finals. Okay, what's Bill Russell's final record?
Didn't he win 14 in a row? He won 14 in a row, right?
13 rings. Nobody's calling him the great. greatest of all time.
I think he's one of the greatest power forwards to ever walk the face of the
earth. Nobody said that because he was playing against plumbers and lawyers. So look,
you're gonna bring Stephen A. Smith out of here, Matt.
Great.
And there is your answer right there. And that's my guy right there. Shout out to him. Greats don't have losing records in.
Guys, it's a team game. It's a team game. It's a team game. And Kobe had Pau Gasol. Kobe had Shaq. It's a team game, guys.
With that note, let's
here we go.
Segment.
It's a team game.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have seen some absolutely amazing women's college basketball. If I sat there and told you at this point on January the 23rd, 2026, Vanderbilt women would be undefeated, you'd all say I was, insane, right? Because it's Vanderbilt. We know Vanderbilt has not done enough as of late, but the football program finally turned heads the correct way. The men's baseball always does that. The men's baseball is unbelievably great. But then, now we're seeing the softball's doing better. We're seeing just every sport's doing good. You really got to tip your cap to Vanderbilt for what they're accomplishing. But Matt, let me ask you this for women's basketball, because you are a basketball guru. By the way, this is what he said. If he's great like Michael Jordan, he could elevate the team. Okay, I like that. And then our guy Mark just said, look, I'm a Jordan guy, but we can't compare LeBron's teams. Look at the teams he had those first few years where he was running with Ben Wallace, who was old, and Larry Hughes.
I mean, I don't think anybody could have took a team with Boobie Gibson as the second best player to the finals other than LeBron. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry.
So Matt, I'm going to go, since you are our basketball guy, right? Okay. All right.
What's up?
Can we possibly see two teams enter the NCAA tournament undefeated?
Absolutely, man. You've seen it a lot actually in women's basketball. With Gino, however you say his last name,
Oriyama.
Gino Oriyama's teams, man, especially during that magical run when they had all those WNBA.
They won 106 straight games, by the way.
Yeah, I mean, and then you go down to Tennessee with Coach Pat. I mean, back then when she was running it, man. I mean, we've seen it before. Then you got Dawn Staley at Arkansas. I mean, South Carolina. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to disrespect you.
Do not let the entire state hear you just say that.
I know, right?
Yeah.
But aren't the logos like the same color? You got, I mean, but nah, man.
No, because they'll tell you it's the garnet and red or whatever.
Garnet
and
black.
They are so gun ho about the colors. So do not get those.
I know that. That's why when I said it, I was like, But I mean, we've seen it. We've seen it in women's basketball before, man. The thing about the separates women's basketball from the male's basketball sport, is the technicality of it and the skill of it. The women, they have to be very skillful. They have to focus on that because they can't really rely on athleticism like that, like men can in their respective sports. So, you're going to get a very technical sound game from the women's basketball team. So teams that are good are the teams that are good. It's not going to be any flukes. These teams are going to come out and they're going to handle business. So Vanderbilt they're really going to handle business as they have been.
So let me tell you this then. January 23rd, 2026. Both Vanderbilt basketball men and women are undefeated. That's a crazy thing to think about, isn't it?
That is very crazy.
You want to know the last time that ever happened?
Never.
That's right. It's never happened. Both men and women are undefeated in basketball. Like, come on. And look, our guy John is an absolute Vanderbilt Commodore. He loved his family, represents it very well. He is up close to Vandy. But Vanderbilt, they had 3 losses now. Well, Vanderbilt was, at one point they were undefeated. Both of them were. Like, that's insane to think about. But, I'm going to go to you, Pensman, on the next with this regards to women's college basketball. I know you don't follow it too much, but I know you have a sound understanding of it. But, Georgetown, what Georgetown has always represented has been greatness, always. Matt, you know this very well, what Georgetown has always symbolized. It's been a symbol of greatness, achieving, high achievers, right? They got absolutely mollywopped. That's why
Iverson came from there.
They got absolutely mollywopped last night by UConn I think it was like what? It was like 84-40. It's insane score. Do you think that UConn is back, or is this just a hiccup? Like, I mean, are we going to see others come back, or is this the time now we can say Gino Auriema's got it fixed and UConn's back to dominate?
You talking to me or Matt?
Yeah, you talking to you.
Okay. I think UConn's back. I think that he's fixed it. I think everybody's starting to come back from injuries, so I think UConn's got it straightened out. So I think they're going to make a strong push here.
So, Matt, we're talking about women's sports. We're talking about the basketball players being the next to propel women's sport basketball into greatness. What players do you see on UConn that could also be on that next it factor for women's basketball?
I'm not sure, man. I mean, the difference that I've noticed from this particular team, different than the other team with Paige Beckers, or another team with Diana Taurasi, or the other teams with Maya Moore. It's really more of a team. This is really more of a team-oriented go at it, man. He doesn't have that one player that's going to bail him out of all the situations, man. He doesn't have that one elite number one player in the country like he usually has. But what I will say, yes, I have watched Blake's play. But what I will say is, we have a new wave of the female athlete in basketball that's coming in. These high school girls that are, I think, coming in this year, if they haven't already came in this freshman year, they're going to be that new wave, man. There's going to be a ton of them. I'm talking like 15, 20 of them, man. There's going to be a ton of them, which is why you're seeing the league starting to expand more now, man. But we're going to start seeing a wave of influx of all these girls coming in, man. Especially, who the number one girl is in college basketball right now, man.
Tell us, so everybody knows.
I'll give you a hint. USC.
Juju Watkins.
Yeah, you got Juju, and don't forget about Annie Crooks. I think her name is Crooks. I think that's her name.
And Audie Crooks.
Audie Crooks. But you also have, guys, there's gonna be a lot of female basketball players coming in, man. That's gonna change the game. So we're gonna see that coming in. So it's gonna be interesting, man. It's gonna be interesting to see where it goes.
Absolutely, and I can't wait. I really cannot wait. All right. Now comes our favorite subject and get our favorite topic. And guess what? Brian Pettit made this. Or we talk about some sports stories, or really any stories that maybe the main media doesn't focus on enough. Maybe they'll do one or two sentences at best. So my first one, and I'm really excited to talk about this one. Shout out goes to Jarrett Stidham. Well, he has not thrown a pass in over 700 days. And now he is tagged to lead Denver to a potential AFC title and possible berth in the Super Bowl. Now this is how rare it is. I want you guys to know how rare this is for a predominantly benched quarterback to win. In the last 10 opportunities, one has ever won. And that's in the regular season when they needed to win the division, right?
False.
Can you guys tell me how many there's your answer. Can you guys tell me how many traditionally benched quarterbacks have won in the playoffs? Matt, do you know?
What's his name for the Eagles? The kid for the Eagles, Nick Foles. Nick Foles.
Yeah. False.
Brian, how many do you think have won it?
4. I'm gonna say 4.
And what do you think? What do you think, Pensman?
I guess 3.
1.
And Matt hit the nail on the head.
Just Foles.
1. Just Nick Foles is the only one that has ever done it. So shout out definitely goes to Jarrett. Obviously, he has a tall and a mighty task ahead of him to go into his. Real quick, Matt, do you think he can pull it out?
No.
Brian, what do you think?
Yes.
Ooh, okay. What do you think, Pinsman?
No, he's going to get mollywopped.
We'll see. All right, Matt, give us your next honorable mention, sir.
My honorable mention is going to go out to the one and only Coach Sean Payton. And listen to the reason why. Listen to the reason why now. The reason why is because
AJC.
Clear.
No.
Props to
This is a valid reason. This is a valid reason.
Clear.
Because he was able to hide the fact that Bo Nix got hurt while they were celebrating in the locker room. He was able to hide that fact. It has the whole everybody believing that he got hurt on the field. Bo Nix did not get hurt on the field, people. If you watch the game, you cannot tell me where Bo Nix got hurt.
He actually he got hurt. He was limping after that play. And his foot dislocated during that play. You do see the player grab his foot, and his foot that he gets up, and that's when he limped really bad.
The last sack
because
they
jerked his foot. Yeah, his foot got jerked.
Overtime.
I don't know, man. Maybe if his adrenaline was pumping, I don't know. He just looked like it was a regular twisted behind.
No, if you go in back and you look, you will see his foot moves the wrong way.
I think it was like 7:54 to go in the game in overtime, and I think that's where he got set. I think that's what happened.
Yeah, he dives in the play and it pulls, and that foot goes like that. It's really gross how it happened, and you have to watch it. You definitely see it. That's when he got hurt.
I put nothing past Sean Payton.
It's true. I mean, it is shot. I mean, just a quick reminder, folks.
Let
everybody know what was that wonderful scandal that was mentioned for the New Orleans Saints before again. Greg Williams.
Bounty Gate.
Bounty.
That's right. Bounty Gate.
Put nothing past.
All right. And look, our guy, John here. Honorable mention. By the way, Phillip Rivers did interview for the Buffalo Bills head coaching position. That would be crazy if he became the next head coach in the NFL. All right, Pinsman, give us your honorable mention, sir.
Baseball's around the corner, February 20th. Let's enjoy it before we hit the cuffs and have the lockout in 2027. So let's enjoy this year. Let's savor every inning, every night, every inning and playoffs. So 2027, we're going to a lockout. So my honorable mention is the MLB coming up.
Brian, what's your honorable mention, sir?
My honorable mention are going to be three people right now. They are on the NASCAR. They're getting inducted to the Hall of Fame. The legends, Kurt Busch, Harry Gant, and Ray Hendrick. They're actually on the NASCAR channel right now getting inducted to the Hall of Fame as of tonight.
Nice.
So
that's awesome.
This is the start of it already.
I like it.
I'll tell you a story real quick, Brandon, if we got time. I actually met Harry Gant at a restaurant in Myrtle Beach years ago with the 50th anniversary napkin and his signature. We were sitting beside him, and nobody knew that he was there until they had mentioned his name, and he was kind of ducking. He didn't really want anybody to know that he was there, and it was funny how that ended up, you know. So,
it's always good when you find some people like that, you know.
Yeah, exactly. And by the way, he had Skull Bandit in his back pocket. So yeah,
nice.
So yeah,
my when my father-in-law was alive, it's funny you said that too, Brian. There's this thing. It's called the donut wagon that goes around the upstate. Best donuts, best pretzels you'll ever have, right? And I mean, the donut shop, I kid you not, they're this big, they're huge, okay? So we go into this one, the donut wagon's in Clemson. My father-in-law is with us, and he goes, let's go get a donut. I'm like, all right, let's go. So we're over there. And this guy comes up, and we get behind him, and I go, Cassie, that's Taj Boyd. She goes, no, it's not. I said, yeah, that's Taj Boyd. And she's like, no, it can't be. And this lady goes, Taj, did you really think nobody was going to recognize you? And he goes, I was hoping nobody recognized me. And I was like, Taj, I knew it was you right away. I told my wife it was you. And just a really cool moment to talk to Taj Boyd. So, yeah, it was really cool. You know, you find him in the most random places. So I have two honorable mentions to kind of go together. My first one is shout out to the great Steven Stamkos for his 16th career hat trick as Bryan's Nashville Preds, who were up 3-0. They were down 3-0 to the Ottawa Senators in the second period. Nashville came back and won 5-3 over the Ottawa Senators. I also want to give a shout out to the Tampa Bay Lightning, the Buffalo Sabres, and the Detroit Red Wings. Why? Because Tampa, I don't know what's going on with the Facebook here. Tampa is 9-0-1 in their last 10 games. Buffalo, for turning heads, y'all, they are 17-3-1 in their last 21 games, and they are rapidly climbing the standings. And finally, Detroit Red Wings for holding on to, albeit a slim lead in the division, with 67 points. The Lightning are at 66, and ironically, Carolina Hurricane are also at 67 points. It actually goes number 1, Detroit, number 2, Carolina, number 3, Tampa, and the point standings. So just got to bring this up. Matt, give your next one, please.
My next one, for those who don't know, man, women's college basketball has a big game this Sunday, man. It's number 5, Vanderbilt, as we so eloquently spoke of, and number 2, South Carolina. And piggybacking off of one of our listeners, the Duckfather, the highlight of that will be the sophomore matchup between Michaela Blakes and Joyce Edwards. Michaela Blakes averages about 25 a game. She's leading the Vanderbilt. What are they? The Commodores? Vanderbilt Commodores?
Yep. Commodores, yeah.
Leading the Vanderbilt Commodores, man. And you got Miss Joyce Edwards, another sophomore averaging 20 a game. That's leading the, South Carolina. South Carolina is 19-2. As we know, Vanderbilt is undefeated at the moment. It's going to be a great game, so make sure you guys tune in. But shout out goes to those 2 young ladies, Michaela Blakes and Joyce Edwards.
And I want to tell Duck Father, also, my 2 cousins actually went to Vanderbilt, so my family supports Vandy. So just letting them know that. Good comment. So I'm actually pulling for Vandy to beat South Carolina by 10 in basketball this weekend.
There you go. All right, Benjamin, give us your next honorable mention, sir.
You guys brought out the Buffalo Sabres, so my honorable mention is the Buffalo Sabres. If you guys don't know, Duckfather said it. They're better than the Bills are right now, but they just let everybody know the Sabres haven't been good since Dominic Hasek, so that tells you how far back the Buffalo Sabres have been horrible. So keep it up, Buffalo. Let's see how far you can go, and let's make it fun and see if you can do it.
Absolutely. Look, and John said that he actually went to a men's basketball game a couple weeks ago. Very cool. All right, Brian, give us your next honorable mention, sir.
No, I got to give it up to Dabo for coming out and saying what he said. Everybody thought that he was just going to be the neutral. No, he came out with a gun blazing, and I think he stole the show. I mean, he brought up some good points, and he threw Ole Miss under the bus. I mean, really quick. So yeah, you got to give it to him really quick. Even though that people are downplaying him, he's going to bring the fight to the gun now. So a big shout out to him though tonight. So I think he gets award for that tonight.
My last honorable mention goes to Mike Pensman here, and of course Matt as well for getting it uploaded in time, for securing that interview with Joe Brand. I mean, that was pretty epic, and we ain't done yet, y'all. I promise you, we ain't done. We got a lot more coverage coming our way, and we are really excited of what is to happen next. That's my last honorable mention. Matt, give us your last honorable mention, sir.
Excuse me. Last one's going to Matthew Stafford for once again getting to the championship game, NFC championship game in his long tenure of a career. We've never seen anybody change the trajectory of their career so fast like Stafford has. From UGA, number 1 recruit in the nation, going to UGA under Mark Richt, all the way up here to Detroit, where he was just pretty much the guy throwing the ball to Calvin Johnson for 9 years. And that was it. And people didn't even think he would be a Hall of Fame quarterback until that one fateful day when the Rams decided to turn their back on Jared Goff, and they swapped quarterbacks, which never happens. Quarterbacks got swapped, and Matt Stafford won that championship. Was able to get my man Aaron Donald a ring. So shout out to Matt Stafford for keeping it consistent, man. Guys are always contenders. Yes, he is definitely a Hall of Fame lockdown, especially with his ring that he got. And also, he's probably going to get the MVP this year. So we'll see. we'll see. But shout out to Matt Stafford, man.
Absolutely. All right, Brian, give us your last honorable mention, sir.
I'm actually going to give Trevor Lawrence. He's might be the MVP this year of the football, the NFL. I heard that there was rumors that he could be.
Yeah, he is. He is listed as one of the finalists.
Just so got to give him a shout out because everybody doubted him last year. Oh, he can't do this, and look where he's at now. I mean,
with good reason. He played like trash last year. With good reason.
He did. Yeah, and
but
now
he definitely bounced back this year.
And the way he recovered from his concussion is remarkable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you got to give him a shout out.
He really turned it around. So definitely turned it all around. And I think it's I think it's a real possibility we could see Trevor Lawrence hoist.
I still can't believe Josh Allen was a finals. How can you not?
Josh Allen he's a good quarterback. He is a great quarterback. Yeah. I mean, Matt,
get him a number one receiver. Get him a number one receiver, please.
Yeah,
like, Jesus.
And Matt will even tell you this too.
He's a crybaby, but he's good.
I wanted Atlanta to actually draft him. I really wanted Atlanta Falcons to draft him because I knew what he was capable of, what his talents were at Wyoming. I got to watch him play Hawaii. So yeah, I absolutely wished he had been Atlanta Falcon, but Josh Allen, he is rightfully deserving of it. And he's just gotten, unfortunately, the short straw with Buffalo. For whatever reason, there is a really either the NFL absolutely hates the Bills or it's just a bad curse. I'm just saying. All right, Bensman, give us your final honorable mention, sir.
I'm done. I have no more.
Okay, no worries. All right, guys, we had an absolute amazing episode tonight. Real quick, want to let everybody know that oh my goodness, I forgot what to say. Oh yeah, want to let everybody know we are back at our normal schedule every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. So Monday's episode, it is episode 186. We have Jonathan Wells of the Houston Texans. He played back when David Carr was the quarterback of the Houston Texans. He's defensive back. So he will be joining our show to talk to us about his journey and what it was like being in the NFL. Wednesday, the 28th, it is episode 187. Marcus McCallum is back, Matt. He is here, and he's going to talk to us about the Super Bowl, and he's going to get us ready for the MLB season. Oh, cannot wait. Friday, January 30th, we do have an episode 188. This one, next one, I'm really excited to share. Monday, February the 2nd, episode 189. We have Will Ritchie. He is the public address announcer for the University of Arkansas at Monticello. Really excited to have him come on and kind of tell us, like, what is it like to be a PA? Wednesday the 4th, we do have episode 190. Friday, February the 6th, episode 191. Bo Crutch, who covers the Seattle Kraken, will be joining our show. Really excited. Monday, February the 9th, episode 192. And I'm going to unfortunately butcher her last name, but her name is Emery Tessaris. I'll have to ask her how to say it. She is the head women's basketball coach of Lenore Ryan University. Really excited to have her on. And y'all, we even got bigger guests. I can't share with you yet, but we have even bigger, massive guests. I'm talking like MVP kind of caliber guest coming on. So that's how big of a guest we have. Pinsman has heard rumblings, so we're not going to share who, but we also have the play-by-play of Tampa Bay Lightning coming on. I got to set that date up with him, and we have the public address announcer for Furman University coming on as well. So, guys, we have a lot to cover. So with that being said, for everybody who tuned in tonight, for our guest earlier today, Joe Brand of the Pittsburgh Penguins, for our guy, Mark Livingston, who covers HBCUs for Greensville Sports Media. Brian, give your final goodbyes, sir.
I just want to tell everybody, please be safe during the snowstorm this week and drive safely, but be kind to everybody that's around you and love each other, you know.
Amen. All right, Pinsman, give your final goodbyes, sir.
Like Brian said, be careful out there. There's a big storm coming if you haven't heard, but be careful. Do not do anything. Just if you don't have to go out, just stay home, or else you'll get your car totaled. So you don't want that because that pays a lot of money. So if there's a lot of hate in the world, just if you don't like it, just walk the other way. So thanks for tuning in, everybody.
And for our guy, Shane, who always tells you guys to peace, love, and bacon grease and love each other. Shane, get better, my friend.
Peace, love, and bacon grease.
All right, Matt, give your final goodbyes, sir.
Yeah, guys. We definitely have the weekend coming up. Just make sure you
Wait, look at your watch, make sure.
I know, right? Make sure you're doing what you need to do. Make sure you guys are playing it safe. If you're gonna go out and drink, make sure you got designated driver. Make sure you got your Uber ready. Please call an Uber or Lyft. They'll get you home. So you don't want the whoops. Because you get those guys, you're gonna be sitting in the jail cell for a minute, man. They're gonna be dealing with all the snow and ice and stuff, man, to be able to see you, man. So it's gonna be Wednesday, But anyways, guys, be careful, guys. We got about an inch thick of a couple inches of ice coming, man, down this way in the southeast. Be careful. Everybody get home safely. Stay home for the next few days. I hope you went to the stores. If you didn't, that sucks for you because there's nothing left. But just be safe, guys. Don't get flagged.
Yes, absolutely. Yes, it is true. That there is nothing left in the stores. Slim pickings at best. You're going to find that down there. As we always said to you guys, please be careful this weekend. If you don't have to go out, don't. Y'all, they're talking up to 2 inches of ice possible, up to 4 inches of sleet even expected. And at the backside, we can get 1 to 3 inches of snow down here in the south. That's just a hot spot for a lot of mess. And by the way,
must be nice. Must be nice.
It does not get above freezing until Thursday. But then comes next weekend, we could be talking about this whole shebang again. So please be smart. Be kind to each other. Peace up. A-Town down. What?
You have no idea how guys you have it good. You have no idea how guys you have it good. I'm telling you, we're supposed to get like a foot of snow up here.
Just go back and Google Snowmageddon and you'll find
you guys don't get the ice. You guys don't get the ice.
I know.
You don't get the black ice down up there. We get the black ice.
Nasty, scary black ice.
Too. I know.
No. 2014. Snowmageddon happened. 1 inch of snow and 2 inches of ice. Yeah,
everybody left their cars on the highway. I said, not me. I'm not leaving my car on this highway. Up the embankment.
By the way, I had to work that one.
Oh, boy. My mom tried to get me to come save her. And I'm like, Mom, I'm not going to come get you. And she got home like 20 hours later, but she got home. So, but as I always tell you guys, peace up. A-Town down. Why it's the greatest sports city there ever was. You guys have a fantastic weekend. Love each other. Be kind, be safe, and we'll talk to you on Monday. Remember, back on 7:30 on Monday, Jonathan Wells of the Houston Texans. Until then, enjoy this outro, and we'll talk to you soon. Good night. Goodbye.